We are in remembrance mode as I write this reflection, in that gap between Remembrance Sunday and Armistice Day, with All Saints Sunday and All Souls Day observed not so long ago, at the beginning of what is sometimes called the month of memory. These special times of reflection, in this hemisphere anyway, always have as their backdrop the falling leaves of autumn, shorter days, darker evenings, and weather that reminds us that winter is around the corner. It seems to fit somehow, and adds an extra poignancy as we remember and give thanks for those who have gone before us, be they the saints of our Christian faith, or our departed loved ones, or the servicemen and women who have given their lives in time of war to protect those freedoms we must never take for granted. This year has brought something new to our remembering, the extraordinary experience of the pandemic, the anxiety and grief that has come with it, and the need to do everything differently because of current restrictions on social gatherings, and since Thursday, the extra dimension of lockdown number 2. All this has given rise to some very strong images. Her Majesty the Queen, dressed in black with a matching mask, standing in isolation in an empty Westminster Abbey, laying her wreath at the grave of the unknown warrior. The Festival of Remembrance in the Royal Albert Hall, all very spread out, with a single choir member standing in each stall of the balcony, usually reserved for the audience. The ceremony at the cenotaph, with its solemn grandeur, but no crowds lining the streets, and a vastly reduced number of veterans able to be there. Our own parish act of remembrance out in the churchyard and streamed on Facebook, and many people paying their tribute by standing in silence on their doorsteps. Although I spent the entire weekend at home, I have felt perhaps more caught up in the significance and relevance of this remembering than had I been out and about, leading worship and being more social and busy. Like the distancing we have seen on our screens, I have had plenty of space around me to think. Other events, too, have added to the thought-provoking nature of the past few days. We have had the long drawn-out tension of the American election, with no certainty about the outcome for day after day, and then the promise of a very different tone and style of government laid before us. And we have had the news of the sad death early on Saturday morning of a remarkable leader and communicator, the former Chief Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, at the age of 72. Jonathan Sacks was often to be heard on Thought for the Day on the radio, a spiritual leader of notable stature and a role model for many. He had a wonderful voice, a remarkable ability to express the values and traditions of the Jewish faith, and to build bridges with his kindly wisdom, profound intelligence, and respect for difference. On Sunday morning, in among the many tributes that flooded in, Radio 4 played a recording of the last Thought for the Day that he broadcast back in May. Listening to it, I felt that what he was talking about, while not directly addressing remembrance or the American election, although he did refer to the pandemic, gave me a word and a concept which not only calmed and unified the swirling thoughts in my head, but pointed to what is so needed to characterize the way forwards, be it for the American people so bitterly divided, for the COVID times we're living through right now. The word was the Hebrew word hesed, an important concept in the Psalms and elsewhere in the Old Testament, and a word for which there is no direct English equivalent. William Tyndale, back in the 16th century, translated it in his Bible as loving kindness, and that is used in many English translations. Steadfast love being another. Rabbi Sacks, in his Thought for the Day, managed with characteristic skill to summarize the story of Naomi from the book of Ruth in a few minutes, speaking of the loss and bitterness which bereavement and isolation brought her at the beginning of the book, and the happiness and blessing which came upon her at the end through the loving kindness, the steadfast love of her daughter-in-law Ruth, and Boaz, who became the father of her grandchild and gave her hope for the future. Hesed is a rich, rich word. It speaks of relationship, of faithfulness and loyalty, of practical action, not just abstract emotion, of goodness and of enduring commitment. It speaks of the very best that human beings can offer to one another. But it has a vertical dimension too. It speaks of what God offers to us, the steadfast love of the Lord. It is what the people of Israel were urged to keep central to their task of remembrance, to recall God's loving kindness, to hope and trust in it, to proclaim it, and above all, to live it. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God, says the prophet Micah. And for the Christian we have, of course, too, the example of Jesus, who walked so closely with his Father, so humbly with God, and so trusted in his steadfast love for the world, that he gave his life on the cross and told us to love one another as he has loved us. Jonathan Sacks ended his thought for the day by saying that loving kindness benefits both the giver and the receiver. It spreads and it grows. It is about lifting others as we ourselves are lifted. And surely it is our way forwards, today, tomorrow, and into the future, as we walk with God, with Christ, and with one another. May God bless you and keep you. Amen.